All right, so let's start with the big story that we are tracking on WION at this hour. Tensions between India and Canada continue to rise. In the last 48 hours, the diplomatic rift that started with Ottawa, which accused New Delhi of being in some way involved in the murder of a Khalistani terrorist, Hardeep Singh Nijjar, on the basis of what Justin Trudeau, remember, described as credible allegations, has now taken a turn for the worse. India has issued a strongly worded travel advisory for its nationals, including students in Canada. The travel advisory speaks of the growing anti-India activities and politically condoned hate crimes, and has now asked Indians to exercise utmost caution and, if need be, to avoid travelling to regions and potential venues with anti-India activities in Canada. Now remember, speaking in the Canadian Parliament, the Prime Minister of Canada, Justin Trudeau, had said that his country has credible allegations that link agents of the Indian government to the death of Nijjar. Both the countries since then have expelled each other's diplomats. The talks on the proposed trade treaty have also been paused for now. These steps can, of course, have several ramifications. Since 2018, India has been the biggest source for international students in Canada, while the Comprehensive Economic Partnership Agreement between Canada and India, which has been stalled, could actually boost the two-way trade by as much as $6.5 billion. Now, several other countries have also joined in the row. The United Kingdom and the United States and Australia have expressed some serious concerns over the allegations that have been levelled by Canada, while the United Kingdom has said that its trade negotiations with India will remain unaffected. According to sources, Canada has been working very closely with the United States for intelligence on India's involvement in the murder of the Khalistani leader. The Canadian Prime Minister Justin Trudeau has said that his intention was not to provoke New Delhi, but rather was to get some kind of accountability on what's in fact happened in Canada.
India, the government of India, needs to take this matter with the utmost seriousness. We are doing that. We are not looking to provoke or escalate. We are simply laying out the facts as we understand them, and we want to work with the government of India to lay everything clear and to ensure that there is proper process.
Now, the Indian government has outrightly rejected the allegations and has called them as simply absurd and motivated. The Nijjar was gunned down on the 18th of June outside of a Sikh cultural centre in Surrey, British Columbia in Canada. Khalistani activities in Canada have been a bone of contention between New Delhi and Ottawa for many decades. Canada's opposition leader, Pierre Poilievre, has said that the risk is actually very real if the Trudeau government were to fail to prove these accusations. All right, now to give us more perspective in terms of what, of course, is happening at this moment between India and Canada, we're being joined by Ms. Charlotte Litt. She's a journalist and also the head of the UK-India desk for the International Centre for Sustainability. She's joining us live on this broadcast. Now, Ms. Litt, the allegation has come from no less than the Prime Minister of Canada, and the basis on which he's made this allegation, he says, is credible allegations that link agents with the government of India in relation with the death of this Khalistani terrorist Nijjar. Now, the question that I want to ask you is, do you think Justin Trudeau has jumped the gun by in fact linking the government of India directly to an act of crime that has happened on Canadian soil?
Yeah, I absolutely think he has spoken prematurely. I think it is incredibly naive and potentially detrimental to Canadian-Indian relations for a number of years. This premature statement with no ability to share evidence with the general public, it leaves relations sore and, I worry, very difficult to heal. And I think it really calls into question what we mean by sovereignty and infringement of sovereignty. There's a lot of questions here being thrown up about whether India has infringed Canada's sovereignty, but I feel there are very little questions being put to Canada about Canada's infringement into India's sovereignty. Absolutely. By harbouring Khalistani terrorists that have warrants against them that are known to be linked to terrorist attacks in India that have been praised by terrorists. the fact that that is being harbored by a supposed Western allied nation is really concerning and a direct affront to Canada, to India's sovereignty.
Absolutely. You know, the question of sovereignty that you've pointed out is something that is going to be talked about a lot. While Canada has raised the concerns that it has, but India has been repeatedly raising concerns about these Khalistani separatists and terrorists who have held referendums for the dismemberment of India within Canadian soil. How does Canada, which wants to be a friend of India, even allow for these kind of subversive activities?
I mean, absolutely. And we know that the founding of WSO in Canada, the statements that were made at the inauguration about the want to kill, I think it was 50,000 Hindus, the track record in Canada is absolutely appalling. To harbour these terrorists, to not bring them to justice, to not tackle the issue, and instead to be seen platformed with them and to be seen sympathetic to them, and to now seemingly be standing for Nijjar, who is a known and wanted terrorist, with an Interpol statement against him. So this is very concerning, and this has led to a rise in anti-India sentiment within Canada, attacks on the High Commission, also attacks on Hindu temples, and a concerning threat to the Hindu diaspora.
Absolutely, indeed. My final question to you is, now, Justin Trudeau has, of course, made the statement that he wanted to make on the basis of what he, in his words, is describing as credible allegations. But now he'll have to prove these allegations. But what happens if he can't?
This is going to be something that will be a thorn in the Canada-India relations for many, many years to come. I mean, we've seen diplomats expelled on both sides. And I think the discussion about whose sovereignty has been harmed the most will go on for a long time to come. Right. But I think it's really important to understand that the want for the Khalistani state in the Punjab is absolutely zero. Only 0.3% voted for the pro-Khalistani separatist party SADA in 2017, and Pew Research has shown that 95% of Sikhs in India are very proud to be Indian. So we really have to understand this is a diasporic issue that Canada is fueling that threatens India.
I think that's very well put there. Thank you very much indeed, Ms. Litt, for joining us and getting us all those insights there. WION is now available in your country. Download the app now and get all the news on the move.